Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the No Cap Show. My name is Phil,
This is Kris.
and today we'll be talking about the Democratic Party spending $20 million to recruit young men.
Oh, God.
Welcome to the No Cap Show. Yeah, you already know. Phillip and Kris commentary on the go from the highs to the lows. Every subject we expose.
Here's Olivia Juliana. Apparently, she'll be leading the Democratic Party to recruit young men. Let's see what she has to say.
Good luck.
One of the newer articles that you wrote about why men drifted right in the previous election. I consider myself a resident expert on this because I am a man. So I feel like we could have an interesting conversation on the conclusions you reached in that article.
Is he a man?
Yeah.
though?
So my Substack but I write a lot about politics. And I hate that all these newsletters are the same. There's so many Substacks that you get on and they're all telling you the same stuff. I don't want to do that. I want to give you a new perspective on the political issues that are going on. And so I keep seeing people talk about young men in the 2020 cycle or in the 2024 cycle. And they keep saying like, well, it's because they're not getting laid enough and they feel judged and or alternatively, well, they're just racist and they hate women. So like it's really, I see
Women are not a race. Let me just point that out.
these takes coming out from both sides of the party wing, I would say. And I just think that all of that is wrong. I think all of it is wrong.
Okay.
And so I wrote this piece called The Politics of Getting Laid and Preachy.
Well, what do you think? Why are there no young men Democrats?
I think it's because it's too feminine. Like they cater to the feminine. Like all their policies are very.
You mean they cater to feminist demands?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was too much of a focus on the new wave of feminism being at the forefront of their marketing, and there's in the newest wave of feminism, there's no room for male masculinity, and that was very much villainized. And I mean, if you're talking about young men specifically, if you're talking about that in masculinity being toxic, you're talking right to them.
But also, like, if you look back at the 2024 elections, what were the talking points of the Democratic Party? I mean, I just remember abortion. They just kept saying that back to back.
Yeah.
And I think that was very annoying because people are unable to pay their bills, buy food, pay for gas for their vehicles.
Yeah, they weren't talking about the economy. And I think a lot of young men getting started in their lives, that's a big piece of the puzzle for them.
And they're struggling to look for jobs, you know. And Kamala, who wasn't really talking to everybody.
I'm speaking.
Oh,
I'm
oh shit,
speaking.
I'm sorry. I was also born in a middle-class family. Was that what something she
I have a
said?
gun. It's a Glock 19.
Yeah, but whatever they were talking about did not, it just wasn't relatable to me.
No. Nor was it relatable to young men.
Exactly. That's why, like, a lot of them are moving to Trump. But also, a lot of the policies that Trump is pushing is just to help them out.
In a sense.
Emails. And I really dive into what I actually perceive it to be. And shocker, it's all economic anxiety. I think the Democrats have a really bad problem of every time we message to young men, we frame it in a way that is wrapped up.
They frame it in a way where you will own nothing and you'll be happy, is how they frame it.
And all of our problems are because of men.
Yes.
Because they're greedy.
And capitalism. We could keep going with this.
Yeah.
the problems we're having with young men shifting to the right, it's not because they don't agree with us on the policy. They do agree with us on the policy. It's because they feel like we don't understand the struggles they're facing, the actual struggles, not the perceived struggles of the masculinity crisis or whatever it is, the actual struggles. And instead, we just kind of want to blame them for all of our problems.
Let me point this out. I think it's an issue with both men and women. I have younger siblings that are kind of in this age demographic, and I try to give them this advice as much as possible. A lot of them are used to the internet culture, the fast dating, just trying to find this and that whenever they need it, not actually looking for a good partner. First of all, like the example she brought up about a young woman in college getting pregnant, and then the man not being there to take care of both her and the kid. You need, as a person seeking a relationship, you need to ask yourself and look in the mirror and say, am I a good partner? Am I someone who is willing to sacrifice for the good of somebody else? Am I willing to meet my partner where they're at? And also, is my partner willing to meet me where I'm at? A lot of times, like, lessons about how to be a good partner are lost because that's boring information.
Yeah.
And too many parents aren't focusing on teaching their kids, like, hey, if I have a daughter, I need to teach her, first off, the way I treat her is the way that women should be treated. And then I need to tell them, hey, this is what you should look for. This is what you need to expect out of a partner. And you need to not waste your time on people who are not giving you that level of respect or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So there's not enough guidance to young people about, you need not to just seek what it is you're wanting, but you need to be able to provide something for someone who displays themselves as a good partner. Because there's plenty of young people that will just, oh, that girl is hot, or that guy is good looking, that's good enough for me. Okay, but are they supportive? Do they listen to your problems? Do they try to help you? Those are things that they're overlooking. They're just looking for a fun night with someone of the opposite sex or the same sex. But it oftentimes comes to them not even realizing that there's an issue with themselves too. You can't expect somebody else to give you something that you're not also giving them. And too many young people are lost in that.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. And I think a lot of this comes back to us from, the older generations, where they always ask or try to tell us, like, hey, date somebody with no sex, like, get to actually know this person before you dive into the next step of getting married and having kids. And from what I've heard and the research that I've seen is that Gen Z is actually going back to traditionalism, where they're going back to church. They're not really dating at the moment.
Yes, but some of them. But that can also be explained by kind of what I'm talking about. They don't see partners that are up to their standard. So then they're like, well, I'm not going to find a partner, but I still need to have fun too.
Right.
So, even the ones that aren't, religious or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's my mother always taught me how to be respectful towards women, how to be a gentleman, how to interact with women properly. And that, coupled with my own experience, led me to, like, women are not a product.
Yeah.
They are people, and they deserve respect too.
Yep.
And that's the only way you're going to get what you want. You're going to have to give up a lot more than you get.
Yeah.
But the benefit is the benefit of the greater good of having a supportive partner,
Yeah.
is of having a relationship that's built on a stable base.
Yeah. And this also has to deal with like vetting the people
Yes,
that you go out with. and stuff.
Exactly. Seeing how you fit together.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of that I just fully agree with. I mean, we just don't message to men, right? And I was like we don't message in a way that resonates to men. Like something that you kind of responded to that I've seen a lot is, well, the reason why Republican messaging resonates with men is because men want bad things, right? It's like men want to have sex and like own women, right? Like they want to dominate everybody. And Republicans say you get to do that, and then Democrats can't say that. So
Republicans do not say that.
No.
Never.
No.
I spend a lot of time on college campuses, and I
he
spend a lot of time with
loves young men.
I love young men. I love frat guys, and in that I realized.
Now imagine if you're a man and you said something like that. You'd be crucified.
Yeah. Yeah. I love young women, especially the sorority types.
They're just not part of our coalition because they feel like they're not welcomed in it.
They're not talked to, right? And yeah, they're not welcome. That's true. Like there's a lot of times where it's like being like masculine characteristics or seem like they're frowned upon, and they're kind of welcomed and championed by the Republican Party. And like masculine characteristics are not characteristics that are intrinsically bad, right? Like, and I think that some Democrats have presented it that way. Now, obviously,
Okay. I think that he's trying to say that, like, okay, these people have been pushed away by the Democrats, so the Republicans are welcoming them. I think it's more simple than that, that they see this happening, that the Democrats vilify young men and toxic masculinity. So it's just they're willing to scoop up those people. It's not like, yeah, they have the same values that we fight for. No, it's just they've been ostracized, and their voters too. So it's easy to win their votes. Sure, maybe that's a marketing strategy, is to try to pander to them, but is that actually what they believe, or is that a shallow way to scoop up the voters that have been ousted from the opposite party?
Yeah. And also if you've noticed that if you're a straight male on the left and you speak up about any concerns you have, you get ostracized, you get demonized, and you get censored.
Yeah, you get pushed down,
Like
because a black woman is speaking.
Yeah, exactly. And you're not allowed to speak. You're not allowed to put your ideas out for them to like debate about, you know.
Yes.
But when they come to the right, we welcome them with our open arms because we're willing to listen and we want to debate.
And I think it comes down to the Democratic Party. They say that, you know, equality for everyone and all this stuff, when by their actions they prioritize certain groups over others. And if you belong to the group, good. If you don't belong to the group, bad.
Yeah.
So you're going to generalize people based on their characteristics versus, how about we just treat people like individuals?
Yeah.
If you have good ideas, sure, let's listen to them. If you have bad ideas, sure, we'll listen to that too, and we'll tell you why that's wrong.
Yeah. But yeah,
that seems to be more prevalent with the right.
Yeah.
More open to people's ideas, whether them being right or wrong, instead of just saying, looking at someone's face before hearing them speak, saying, oh, that's a white male.
Yeah.
So
like right off the bat,
before he ever even opens his mouth, he's wrong.
Yep.
Because he has nothing valid to bring, because his lived experience is lesser than a black woman or a indigenous woman.
Yeah.
Because you simply don't belong to that group.
Yep. Yeah, for a while there back then, I would have trouble arguing with them whenever they bring terms like lived experience and this and that,
Yes.
because I'm like, what are you talking about? Like,
The whole idea behind identity politics has only made up for more bifurcation, but also taken away from the individuality that the Democrats claim to say is one of their strengths, when in reality they just act as a
cult?
yes, a cohort of smaller groups.
Yeah.
And we're here for the greater good of the group, not for the greater good of the individual.
Yeah, man.
Which is backwards.
It is.
And so, yeah, like the whatever podcast can resonate with men that are like incels or like struggling with women, right? Because a girl was mean to them or whatever, and they're able to project upon like those women which come on and like look really dumb. They're able to say like, yeah, all women are like this. I feel better about myself. But there's all these other things that resonate probably more, which is like, man, shit's expensive, right? Like, man, I don't feel supported, right? Like, I don't feel like there's anywhere for me to go, right? I feel like if something bad happens to me, no one's there to support me. That's the thing that a lot of men deal with, because men are a lot of times kind of put in the box of supporting other people, so no one's there to support themselves.
But that's exactly my point I made earlier. Find a partner who is willing to support you. So if you want someone to support you, what are you going to give them in return?
Yeah. It is a relationship after all.
Yes. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder why no one wants to talk to me or support me. Okay. Have you looked at yourself in the mirror?
Yeah.
Have you seen what you're giving other people? That's a common thing in, like they brought up the incel community. Women don't give guys attention. They're involuntarily celibate because they can't fit in. But then you go and let them talk, and they talk about how bad women are. All women are bad because they won't give me any time of day. Okay, but when was the last time you took a shower? When was the last time you took care of yourself?
Yeah.
When was the last time you were supportive of a woman in any way?
Yeah.
When was the last time you gave anyone meaningful affection? And the answer, and they don't have that answer.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the problem, is that instead of looking in the mirror, identifying their own issues and trying to solve those, they're going to point at other people and say, no, you're the problem.
Right. Yeah, you absolutely have to set. But the thing is, like, on the whatever podcast, it just shows, like, it gives you all the different point of views, but like mainly it's the delusional standards that females have and stuff like that.
And
So
that's
it's like
also part of the problem.
It's like a totally different.
Foot.
Yeah, it's totally different podcast, and people just listen to, like, I listen to it. I don't consider myself an incel. Like, I got a family of my own, but I like listening to different ideas. So I do listen to, but I'm not like a frequent listener. I just listen to clips and stuff like that.
But that's like you listening to that podcast is a perfect example of, okay, I don't agree with these people. I don't resonate with their message. However, I can still listen to it and critique it and have a critical analysis of it. But to be critical, you have to understand what they're saying first.
Right.
You can't just attack someone and have no basis. You have to know what they're saying.
Yeah.
If you're a young man in America, you are expected to go to college or go to a trade school, get a certification, get a degree. Then you're expected to get a high-paying job. And then once you get your high-paying job, you're expected to find your wife and to buy a house and to have kids and to do all of these things. And if you don't do that, then you're a failure, because you are the man and you are the provider. And if you can't provide, then you're not actually a man.
That's partly true, but like a lot of it has changed.
Okay.
Like a lot of men are not going to college.
That's true. But what is the point of going to college?
It's to make more money.
No, the point of going to college is to educate yourself and give yourself more skills. So that comes with, I keep bringing up, you have to look at yourself in the mirror, and see where your weak points are. So if education is your weak point, then you go to college, you learn the skill, and you learn to overcome that challenge.
Yeah, but that's a very expensive challenge, brother.
Of course, I would know. I would know. But I learned more lessons about life than I would have doing anything else.
Yeah.
And it's something that I would do over again if I could.
I mean, I think what she says is kind of right. I mean, but I think everything is changing right now. You know, like guys just ain't going to college because it's too expensive. You know, they rather do something else. They're finding different options. You know,
Yeah.
Already looking for a girlfriend is freaking hard because the standards are absolutely
Yes.
crazy.
Women are delusional about their standards, and men don't know what women actually want.
Right.
So it's hard for them to, okay, well, what can I be like to gain your acceptance?
Right.
But the goalpost is always
Like moving all over the place.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
It's that Republicans have made immigration an economic issue. They made it an everything issue. I mean, they point to immigrants and they say, these are the people that are taking away your livelihood, the safety of your family, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And like, that's a lie. It's a vicious lie, but it's a lie that you can perhaps understand people believing if they have no other explanation.
I think they're lying
Yes, I believe that.
because
If you were to,
they're saying
if you were
legal.
to ask,
Like, first of all, I would ask them, like, are they talking about legal immigration or illegal immigration?
yeah,
And then once they answer, like, legal immigration, yeah, like, I have a problem with that too because it's a numbers game. Like, you can't just be bringing them a shit ton of, like, you know, immigrants. And there's a process in doing that, and it takes time. And if they're talking about illegal immigration, like, I absolutely do care because what ends up happening is, like, they'll come in illegally, so that's already one crime. And then there's follow-up crimes to that, like, oh, now they don't have, you know, identity to go to work. They need, you know, all this other stuff. And they say that, like, yeah, you could attain a TIN number, which is similar to Social Security, and you could work and get taxed just like everyone else. But we're not talking about all of the other crimes that comes with it. Like, you know, they're using other people's identities. They'll have kids here, and then they'll apply for social benefits through their kids that are born here. So, I mean, there's just so many other issues that we could get into, but
yeah, I think they're simplifying the issue a little bit.
yeah, they are.
And
I think they're lying.
I don't think that Republicans would say that, oh, it's just an economic issue. I think there's a lot of factors that it influences. But I don't know if what they're really getting at has much to do with immigration to begin with.
Yeah.
The ability to find a partner and build a family is a cultural issue.
Yeah, it is.
And it's, like I've said, it's one of those things where young men and young women need to understand reality, and they need to understand that you need to be a good partner. And it comes back to being that, sure, working a 9-to-5 job, paying all your bills, like, that's part of it. But you're not going to find a spouse by just doing that. You need to branch out, and you need to offer other people the same thing that you're expecting. And it comes back to females having delusional standards, and also, like, well, sure, you can still go to work, pay your taxes, pay your bills, but also be an alcoholic and a piece of shit every weekend.
Yeah.
So that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. But, you know, they're just going all over the place with this. Why men are,
and this is their attempt at trying to understand why men are being funneled to the right, and they've missed the mark even on that analysis.
Yeah, it's just policy.
So that, because again, they fail to represent the issues that these people care about, first off.
Yeah.
And second off, they're not being realistic.
No, they're not.
About the way the world works.
I feel like they're just bringing all this other stuff up just to point the finger as well.
Yes,
Like,
and-
hey, look at
and-
that. They're pointing at it. No, this.
And they're trying to talk, you know, their perceptions of the right's viewpoints down and
Yeah.
explain why Orange Man bad.
Yeah, but that's the problem. See, like a lot of conservatives are willing to open their ears up to listen to what the left has to say, and then they'll come up with their own opinions, while the left will shut you off and they won't even listen to what you have to say. And I think that's the really big difference between
Well, they'll
You
shut you off, but they're also not open to
discussion.
discussion. But like I keep saying, there are times when you need to look at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
And if you are the problem, you need to address it. It's not other people's responsibility to correct you always. So they misrepresent everything.
Yeah.
They're not willing to take criticism, and they just make a fool of themselves all the time.
Yeah. All the time.
I think we should have one specific like one this is the message we use on this issue, because people are going to interpret that message however they want to interpret.
The Democrats have had that message for a long time, and it used to work that each individual should be celebrated for the things that make them unique.
Yeah.
But those things do not include gender, your ethnicity,
Yeah.
your upbringing, or how much money you have.
Yeah.
But what you bring to the table in your personality and what you're willing to give to others.
Yep.
That was the message.
Yeah.
And that was the one that worked.
Yeah.
And now they've got kicked the can so far down the road that now it's like my criticism of modern politics is that, you know, it's one side making a point, the other side arguing about it.
Yeah.
But it's almost like we've already solved the economic problem. We've already solved the immigration problem.
Yeah.
We've already solved the abortion problem. We've already solved the gay rights problem with marriage. Like, now we're to a point where the only things people can get mad about are
Right.
things that don't matter, or the things that are just like innate about people.
But do you think
So one side makes a point, the other side argues about it to try to defeat them, but they're just arguing about nothing.
it's because like we have it so good that they're looking for things to have a purpose?
Well, because they have to be mad about something. That's like marketing 101 is you find a villain and then you point to that.
Yeah.
And now the things that are getting pointed at are like, oh, all the white men are the problem. No, the white men are not the problem. The problem is you alienating everybody.
Yeah.
Because we've already figured out all the things that are important for our society and our culture to work fluidly.
Yeah.
Those things are all in place and are now just given. So the only thing we can get mad about, we have to find something to get mad about.
Pretty much.
So now all of the modern political points all lead back to culture. It's like they're not trying to fix problems that people have in their everyday lives that the government should be responsible for. Now the government is overreaching and telling people the way in which they should live their lives, which is what culture is.
Yeah.
It's like content police. Like and all of it started with political correctness, what you can and cannot say.
Yeah.
What we can choose to be offended by. And fell down the slippery slope, and now
Here we are.
because you were born a male and both of your parents are white, you are bad.
Yeah. I think it's just mainly the Karens complaining about everything all the time. Like something that doesn't fit a narrative or something they don't like, they don't enjoy. They want to police it, censor it, get rid of it.
Yes. But in if you look at like the history of politics, it's always been about, you know, what's our tax rate going to be? How are we going to stimulate the economy?
Like you're
how are
talking
we
about,
going to bring back jobs? How
like
are
you're
we
talking
going
about the
to,
older politics, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
and now it's all identity politics.
It
How are we
is.
going to alienate more white men? How are we going to falsely lift people that don't deserve to be in positions of power to positions of power? How are we going to take away the ways of, you know, like the individuality that people bring?
Yeah.
How are we going to push people into groups instead of treat them all like a group of individuals?
Yeah. They pretty much have, well, what it is it's I never read into the book of Marxism and stuff like that, but I think it's a lot of that stuff that they pick up from is
Yes.
from the book.
But that, even like, you know, the core principle behind liberalism is embracing the factor of individuality
Yeah.
and saying that no matter what characteristics an individual has, they have something of value to bring to the table.
Yeah. To society.
Yes. And that when that is the case and you start putting people into groups again, well, what happened to the individuality?
It just turns into tribalism,
Exactly.
which is what we have right now.
Exactly. Modern day liberals do not follow the founding principles. They don't even know what principles liberalism standed on to begin with.
Yeah. But do you think that is because of the dilution of the culture since we're bringing in so many immigrants? Do you think that has to be like a factor of that?
I mean, a traditional liberal would say, you know, if you bring immigrants with different cultures together, those distinctions between individuals will bring something to the table that they can share too.
Right.
But now it's immigrants as a group. All immigrants are good. Okay. But there are individuals who are immigrants that come to this country and commit crimes and and are a problem. But we cannot make a judgment on the individual. We have to make a judgment on the group as a whole. So I think both Democrats and Republicans kind of fail in that sense, because Democrats think all immigrants are good
Right.
because they're just seeking a better life for their families. And then Republicans go on the offensive of that and say, all immigrants are bad. All immigrants are trying to take your jobs. Well, some of them, but we're not judging people on an individual basis anymore. You cannot be Democrats would say you can't be held to, you know, a higher standard because you grew up poor and you grew up in a bad financial situation and none of those things are your fault.
Right.
Well, of course they're not your fault, but you still are accountable for your actions as an individual.
Yeah.
So do you act in a good way or do you act in a bad way? You cannot just take the whole group and say, these people are bad. All of them are bad because of this.
Right.
But that principle is lost.
Yep.
We've lost focus on what the task is. Everybody's just arguing about things that don't make any sense anymore.
It's very true, and that's usually people coming from the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Saying something different in two different rooms with different demographics in them. Even if you are being genuine, but sometimes it's just not, right? Like the Kamala Harris's agenda for black men. I don't think that really went anywhere because it just seems so kind of contrived. It seems so like.
Well, it was just so, and this is the same thing. It's the same thing that Hillary Clinton did, where it's.
Okay, perfect example. They're talking about Kamala Harris right now. This is the reason why she lost the election. She proposed all of these cultural things that she wanted to change. What was her stance on the economy? What was her stance on traditional political issues? She had none.
No.
When they asked her about her economic plan, she said, it'll be one that benefits everyone. Okay, but how?
Yeah.
How are you going to manipulate taxes? How are you going to stimulate the economy? How are you going to, handle these specific issues, which in the past had always been addressed in the time that candidates would, I'm running for president. Sure, we'll have debates.
Yep.
But that was the thing, is that each candidate represents a different set of, okay, this is my stance on this. When I'm going into office, I'm going to enact these policies specifically lined out.
Yeah.
She did not do that once.
Nope.
She just talked about, I feel like this, and so we should do this, and it'll benefit everybody. Do what? You need to say it. You need to put it on paper.
She blamed that she didn't have enough time to campaign.
She was the vice president for 4 years.
Yeah, I know.
And they knew the whole time that they were going to put her up as the nominee.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
I just remember hearing from their campaign was abortion rights, and that's it.
Well, all those videos came out about all her advisors. None of them were on the same page about anything. They were the ones feeding her all of these talking points.
That makes sense.
And they all were like, oh, well, we don't know what went wrong. But between the 3 different interviews they did, they're all talking about different things and talking about how it kind of got off the rails pretty quick when not all of us were on the same page.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a concise message.
Yeah, I still can't believe that they chose her to try to recruit more men. And then you got David Hogg, who's like leading the DNC or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, like how?
They've just fallen so far out of touch with what can bring solutions to the problems that we have, and not just these are the problems that the people argue about in politics now, but no, the problems that the data shows that we're having issues with.
Yeah.
Is immigration really an issue? If you can provide the data to show most Republicans do, then all right, that's an issue we can tackle.
Yep.
But you need to have a plan of action on how you're going to do that.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with the argument about immigration, is that a lot of people are arguing about the principle behind, should immigrants be here? Should we let these people in?
Yeah.
But you're not talking about what are you going to do once they're here?
Yep.
Or what policy, politics is about policies.
Yeah. It always
not about ideas. Sure, it's good to debate about ideas when you're running for election, when you're having debates. But when you win that seat in government, what policies are you going to enact that are going to change that?
Right.
Whatever issue it is.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why Kamala Harris lost, because she couldn't lay anything out.
No.
All right. If the issue is economy, I'm going to do this, this, and this. If the issue is immigration, I'm going to do this, this, and this.
Right.
She just said, oh, no, it's going to be good for everybody. Everybody's going to win.
It's vibes, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, we got the good vibes over here.
She's campaigning based on vibes.
Do not come. Do not come.
Oh, I'm going to come.
Bill, you'll have people on the right throughout these claims of well, what are you doing for this group? And we'll have these long-winded explanations with these details and these figures, and then we can go out and talk about it so we're blue in the face, but at that point the conversation's already moved on, because they didn't actually care about the answer. They cared about how they felt about the answer. And so
exactly, they're talking about how they feel about these things. No, what policy are you going to enact to help these people? Obviously they can identify the problems, but they can't identify solutions and then pick which of those solutions are better than others.
Right.
They'd rather just talk about the issue.
Right. And that's what it's been for the last 8 years.
Yes. Yes.
Like there's some big economic issues that hit everybody. Affordability is one of the most central ones. And that's something that we should champion. And the good news is it helps everyone, right? It's not just good policy all the time, but it's also like we don't need to have different messages for different groups, in large part because there isn't different policy solutions for different groups. Like target.
Exactly. He just said it. He just said it. See, they know the problem.
They do.
But they would rather argue instead of fix the problem.
Yep.
Increasing funding for specific grant programs for certain races of businesses. I mean, that's great and all, and we've had that for a long time. But that's not going to fix the big economic inequality and opportunity issues we have in this country. The only thing that could do that is dramatic investments, is a huge expansion of the social support system, et cetera, et cetera. And that's the kind of stuff that we should probably focus on talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly the point. They want to solve these issues with wide sweeping policies that affect everybody. No, he said it was, oh, well, you know, we don't want to talk about these mundane policies that help these small little groups. Okay. But if you enact these policies to help these small groups, maybe that will affect the greater economy.
Right.
Maybe there'll be more people impacted if you just take little chunks, fix that problem, move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Fix that problem, move on to the next one. If you're going to generalize and make larger policy decisions that affect everybody, it's going to do nothing but outrage everyone.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you that no politician, no policy advisor, no one is smart enough to fix every problem. So you take it step by step. You fix this problem, see the impact. You fix this problem, see the impact. You fix this problem, see the impact.
Yeah.
Instead of just trying to put a blanket all over everything and say, oh, we fixed the problem now. Okay, but how many people did that hurt? A lot.
A shit ton.
Exactly. And especially when they're talking about income inequality.
Absolutely.
If you feel like you're not making enough money, go get some better skills to get the job that you want.
I agree.
I need Democrats to start talking like, well, what's your healthcare policy? My healthcare policy is healthcare should be good and cheap.
Right.
Okay, but how do you make healthcare good and cheap?
Exactly. I have a solution.
How are you make it good and cheap?
Yeah. Good and cheap.
Okay.
Like, Republicans never say the word tax credit. Why do we say the word tax credit all the time?
What?
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, Donald Trump. We're going to give some tax credits to families and people that we have statistics that have shown have been struggling in our economy for the last 10 years.
Jeez, bro.
Okay, yeah, they don't. Yeah, Republicans don't like tax credits. Oh, yeah. Yep. That's real smart.
Most Democrats don't have the charisma that Bill Clinton had. And so
where the hell's the picture of him in the dress, dog?
I know.
He's so cool, man. Yeah, how about them flight logs?
Yeah.
Instead of leaning on the charisma, they lean on the details. And I just don't think it translates the same way. We just come off as a bunch of dorks. Like that's just the truth. We just come off as a bunch of dorks. Nobody wants to listen to a dork.
No, not dorks, more like whiny.
Yes.
Always complaining about something.
Yes. Because all the major issues have been fixed. So now the only things they have to whine about are things that don't really matter.
Right.
No, there's 0% chance they can list anything because there's just so many ideas and they're all so contrived.
Well, no, that's not true. They'll say that she supports sex changes for transgender illegal aliens in prison.
A center of her platform, yes.
It was a central part of her platform. Yeah, I mean, it's just the same thing over and over again.
True,
it's kind of like
she said it. She said it. She said it in that interview.
Yeah, she did.
She sat on stage and said that.
I know she did. That's why I'm just like, that's why they bring it up, because
Okay, and that's the thing.
I mean, it's not like people are lying
She doesn't provide any policy
or any solutions to any problems, and if she does,
so what are we left to critique? We're left with that video of her saying that we're going to give sex changes to illegal immigrants in prison.
Yeah.
You know, guys, what are we doing here? I think of it as America, or voters in general, when they're deciding who they want to vote for, they want a mom and they want a dad. Not to be homophobic, because there can be, same-sex parents here.
How is that homophobic?
Yeah.
You can be a mom and be married to a woman.
Yeah. You just pick your gender roles, I guess. And I don't know if that's
this doesn't make any sense.
I don't even know if that's politicized.
They want a mom and a dad. They want someone who, in times of uncertainty, can bring them comfort and can make them feel like there's someone there for them. And then they also want someone who's going to be stern, who's going to have...
Okay, and this points to another problem with the Democrats. We want a mom, we want a dad, we want someone who's going to make us feel good.
Yeah.
Okay, those of us that have lived in reality enough understand that politicians are not here for us.
No.
They are here so that they can make some money.
Make some money and get what they want.
But let's hope that they make some money and make some policy decisions that can make us some money too.
Yeah. That's what we're really looking forward to.
That's the thing, is that too many people are like, well, this person really cares. You really think so? You really think so?
No. They're in it for something. One way or another.
They're in it for political power. They're in it for financial gain.
Yes.
They're not in it to support you.
Nope.
They don't even know who you are.
Nope. You're just a number.
Exactly. And this is why, like Kamala Harris, I'm not going to talk about policy. I'm going to talk about vibes, bro. She's a mom. I can support her. I don't care how many kids you have. 1, 2, 3, 0.
Yeah.
Are you gonna enact policies that are gonna help me?
Yeah.
If you're not, bye. See ya.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happened.
That's what I mean by people not living in reality.
I would never.
Now it's time for Lefties Losing It.
I would never compare mom and dad to like fucking the Democratic Party or anybody. That's just weird.
And that just shows they don't understand what the problem is. That whole video, they were trying to diagnose and analyze. Why is it we're having this problem with young men?
They're not looking deep enough.
No, and it's not deep.
I know it isn't.
It's not. What are the issues that those people care about? And how can we affect those issues? That's it. That's it.
What I meant was like they're not searching deep enough within themselves. Because they're worried about other bullshit, bro. All right, that's all we have today.
Yeah.
Make sure you subscribe.
Hit that like button, smash it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Peace, we out.